Hello, it's Crafty Carol here with another card for you. This is a star gatefold card that I first saw from Tami White. She's done all sorts of these, and there was a beautiful wedding card. That was the one I saw. So I thought I'd make it for Christmas, and this is the card. So it folds like this. It's flat. It's got a bit of bulk. So you've got this sort of diamond on the front, which opens up, and you've got a lovely diamond inside. It stands up on all the points, and just a very lovely card. So for this one, I made it in basic beige, and I had to adjust the back, adjust the pieces, because you're best if you've got 12 by 12 cardstock for this, but I'll tell you how you do it if you haven't got 12 by 12 cardstock. So I'll put that to one side and go through all the bits we need. So for the very base of this card, start off with this. So this piece is 30 centimetres by 10.5. I'll put the inch measurements in the blog. Tami has done all the inch measurements, and you can download her PDF for that. She uses 12 by 4, I think it is. But anyway, I've worked it out for centimetres. So to make it easy, 30 by 10.5. Now we're going to score this base piece. If you only have A4 cardstock, then obviously you can't cut 30 because it's not 30 centimetres, 29.6. So if in that case you want to cut 10.5 centimetres wide, so half the sheet of A4, but cut it down to 25 centimetres. And then you want a second piece, which is 10.5 by 10 centimetres. So I'll show you, I'll show you on this one because I actually did it with this one. So this piece is my initial base piece. Then this piece I added on the end, and there is actually a join here, but it's so difficult to see, you'll never see it, so it's not a problem. So the 25 centimetre piece forms this bit, scored at 5, 10 and 20. And then you score the 10 by 10.5 piece at the 10 centimetre side at 5 centimetres, and just stick these two panels together to make the full length of the card. But if you have 12 by 12 cardstock, then it's easy, you can just do it in one. So I hope that makes some sense. Anyway, to score the 30 centimetre piece of cardstock, you want to score it at 5. So I'm going to put it on the trimmer here, move my cutting blade out of the way so we don't have any dreadful mistakes. Score it at 5, score it at 10, score it at 20, and finally at 25. So as I said, if you don't have the whole piece, cut another piece at 10. If it was 25 centimetres, this bit wouldn't be here, so you'd have these 3 folds, score your other piece, fold it in half and stick those 2 panels together, and that would make your whole piece. But we've got all of it, so it's fine. These 2 inner folds are going to fold inwards. So again, as always make sure that your card is lining up top and bottom before you get your bone folder and give it a really good crease. You want this to have a really good crease in it because it obviously needs to sit closed if possible. Fold this one back, and again, give it a really good burnish. And then we do exactly the same this side. So we fold this side in flat, again, making sure it lines up properly. And this piece back. So that is our basic card. It's just basically a gatefold type card, so very simple fold. If you need to stick your other piece on, do. So that's those bits. Then to form this front piece here, this piece here, we're just going to cut squares and then cut them diagonally. So you need a square of the same base card colour, which is 10.5 by 10.5. Then I've got my layers, one at 10 by 10 and the next layer, which I've used DSP as 9.5 by 9.5. So we are going to cut all of these through and then stick them together. So these 3 for the front, we're going to cut diagonally. And the way to do that is line up 2 points of your square, 2 opposite points in the channel of the cutting blade. Make sure your cutting blade is over the middle of that card, and then cut up and down, and that will give you clean cuts, so you have 2 pieces there. And you want to do this with the layers as well, the 10 by 10 layer, which is the same. So we're going to put that in the middle. Could stick them together and then do it. I'm not sure enough that I'm going to line things up properly. So no, don't do it that way. I do them all separately, then stick them together. I think it's better. So again, I'm going to make sure this is in the middle, because if I come up across this tip, I am likely to damage the point, and I want the points to look good, so that they look good on the card. That's my cutting. So there are my pieces for the front, which we can stick together in a minute. Then you also need another set. Well, before I do the middles, let's do this bit. So you need another set of the same 3 pieces. This time my 3rd layer, so I've got 10.5 for my base card, my real red. I've got 10 by 10 for my gold foil, and then I have this time a piece of very vanilla, and that is 9.5 by 9.5, and that is going to form the bit for the back here, and it's going to be stuck like that. So leave that for a second. We are going to put layers on all of these panels. So for these layers, I've got more bits here. So my bit of gold foil for the center panel here. Now this is not the full square. If you do it in inches, you can do the same inches for here. It doesn't work with the centimeters. So for this piece, this is 10 downwards, but just a 9.5 across. And then the piece of DSP I've got to go on top of that is 9.5 downwards by 9 across. So they're just a little bit narrower. So don't get them mixed up. And we're going to stick all of these in. So that's this main panel here. So let me stick that in, and then I'll give you the measurements for the panels at the side. So that is my goal. Make sure I've got it the right way round, the longer bit going downwards. That is my level there. And then my DSP on top. And make sure I've got it the right way round, which is that way. Which bit should we have near the top? I've got golden, sort of more just red piece at the end. That just happens to be where I cut the DSP. This is the Season of Elegance DSP, by the way, part of the sweeter season in green and gold, which I love, as you know. So that's the centerpiece. Get those out of the way so I don't get them mixed up with my other square bits. So then we need panels for each of these pieces and DSP to go on top. So the side panel pieces, these are 10 by 4.5 centimetres, so 4 of those in gold, and then 4 of the DSP, which are 9.5 by 4. So again, we're going to stick these together and stick them in. So I'll just run through the video very quickly in this bit so that you don't have to be bored watching me do it. So there is my card with everything stuck together. I'm now going to stick these bits together and show you how to put them on the front. Now, when you're sticking these, obviously they're just squares that we've cut, so we're actually going to line up the long surface, the long end with the edge, if you see what I mean. So because we've cut them, how can I describe this? The little, yeah, so we're leaving the edge, the border, just at the sides here. So we want to make sure this is really lined up with the edge. That's better. That's one. Then the DSP on top. So you could, as I say, if you wanted to, you could stick these all together as squares and then cut it diagonally. Totally up to you. But we don't want a border on this inner side because obviously they're going to fit together. And when they fit together like this, we don't need a border because we don't want to see it because they fit like that, yeah? So I'll just do this one the same. So these are now going to stick on either side here, and that's not joining just as well as I would normally like. So obviously I did the scoring a little bit too quick there, but I can adjust it as I put these on. So when I'm putting glue on here, I only want to put it on the area that's going to cover on here. So basically I don't want to put it on there. I just need to put it on this sort of center bit, which is the bit where it's going to be touching my base. So just glue in the center there. And then how I found the best way to do it is I'm lining it up on here, and I know it's 4 and a little bit squares, top and bottom. So if I put my point at 4 and a little bit of squares, top and bottom, there we go. That should be bang in the middle. So I've got the same point upwards and downwards, and you only need to do that for one, because once you've got one stuck on, we can use that one to measure all the rest. So same on this side, just put the glue in the center of the triangle, and then you can line it up against the other triangle. There we go. So I don't need to measure this time, because I can use the triangle I've already put on, so that we have our basic fold. So just to finish it off, we have to do the center. Now I've played around with this, and I did at first work out a very complicated way of measuring everything, so that I had a board around my center triangle as well, which produces this look. So if you want that, I can tell you how to do it, but frankly, it's a bit fiddly, and you can see from mine, I didn't quite get my measurements just right. So I'm going to do it an easier way this time. So for the second set of triangles, I'm just going to do the same of sticking them all together, although I am going to do some stamping before I finish that, because I'll stamp first before I stick it on. Or shall I be brave? Who knows? Perhaps not. I'll stamp first, just in case. Always better. So I can stick my gold foil layer on and have my border all the way around. So this one, remember, it's going to be pointing upwards, so I need to stamp it as a diamond. And I'm using, I think I'll use the Christmas labels. What should we have? Be Merry. How about Be Merry? Where is that? There. This lovely set, this is Christmas labels, and it comes with these beautiful dies. And I have actually already made one for the front, which you can see in the corner there, which I'll show you in a bit. But yeah, so I think I'm actually going to emboss this, because I've got so much gold in this. Why not have a bit more gold? It is Christmas after all. So I'm going to use my embossing buddy and stamp in Versamark. So I'm having it this way up, because obviously it's going to be pointy up. I don't want it too near the top, because I don't want it sticking out over the top there. So I'll have it about here, I think. That'll do. Get my gold embossing powder. Had all that in gold embossing powder. Obviously didn't quite, oh no, I did, there we go. I thought there was a little bit stuck on there, but it's not, it's just knocked off. There we go. So we'll just heat set that. So I'm hoping if I hold it like this, you might be able to see it actually go, which is the joy of embossing. There we go. So make sure it's all properly melted, which luckily it's a nice day today. I can see it properly. It's been very dull recently, but we did have some sort of snowy hail this morning, which wasn't very nice. But anyway. So I'm going to stick this bit on. Again, making sure my gap is the same, or all the way around. Just need to ease that across a little bit. That's it. There. So there is my piece. Now obviously I can't just stick it in like that because I've got the bit sticking out at the side. So the easy way to do this, making sure you know which is up and down. On the side pieces, get your ruler and just measure in 2.5 centimetres from each side. So making sure it's across point to point, so I'm cutting it straight. Oops. There we go. So 1, 2.5, so measure it 12.5 and 2.5 this side. Just put a little mark there, and then I've managed to cover up my trimmer with all sorts of stuff. Let's just bring that back in. And now I've got my little mark, so I just put my little mark there, and I can use it, I can actually now cut that off. So I'm going to line that up into the channel, and then I'm going to make sure that this is the 2 line, and I'm making sure that the top and the bottom points are pointing directly straight up and down this line. These vertical lines on the trimmer are a boon. So my little mark is in the middle, so I'm just going to cut off all the 3 layers like that on that side, turn it round and do exactly the same on the other. So making sure it's lined up straight. I can also check against the line here that it's nice and straight. That's it. Yeah, and that's just about in the centre of my channel. Just bring it across a little bit. Cut that off there. So that now gives me my piece for here. Now, as I said, if you are worried about this, then you can faff around and, you know, do a bigger cut. But I found that was the easier way to do it. Because I really got in a bit of a muddle doing it the other way. So again, I'm going to put glue on, but without going right to the points, because obviously they're not going to be stuck into the card. They're going to stick out of the card. Now to line this up, the easy way to do it is simply to bring one of the sides across, because if I bring the sides across, I can make sure that that's still a little bit big actually. I might need to just trim that down ever so slightly. I think on this side I didn't quite trim it enough, so I've got glue on it. I don't want to put it back on my trimmer, so I'm going to do it just by eye. I obviously didn't have that lined up just quite as cleverly as I should have done. Try again. That's better. I don't want it sticking out over the folds, obviously, because then the card won't close. So I'm going to line this up with my other triangle point. So it needs to come down a little bit from there. Oops, it's deciding to stick already, and I don't want it to. That's better. And then when I'm happy it's in a line, it's lined up, I can stick it down. Oh, it's deciding to stick down already. I tried to use Tombow so that it's got some wiggle room, but there we go. So there we go, not too bad. So there is my card. I think it doesn't matter to have these at the side. As I say, I faffed around with this one, but I managed to get this one slightly bigger than this, and it just wasn't quite right. So yeah, up to you which way you want to do it. It is a faff, I have to say, to get the edges, and I think that's actually fine as it is. And of course it stands up like this, and then to finish it off, I'd already prepared this. This is using one of the lovely dies with the Hope Your Season is Filled with Magic, which again I've embossed, and that is going to stick on the front. Now obviously we don't stick it both sides. I am going to use dimensionals, and we're just going to stick it on one side, so making sure it's the right way up. I'm just going to put dimensionals on the one side, so we'll have it on this side here. So that will make sure it's as near the middle as I can manage, both topwards and downwards. So that's in the middle there, and there we have the card. So I hope you like this one. It's just a really nice card. You do need a larger envelope for it. It will fit nicely in a 6x6 envelope, whichever way you want to put it in. So get a 6x6 envelope for this card. You will need it. And yeah, there we go. I hope you like the card. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe to my channel. Go to my blog at craftycarolscards.co.uk. I think this needs another good burnish actually to keep it folded. Go to my blog at craftycarolscards.co.uk for all of the measurements and the instructions, and I do hope you have a go at this card because it's so fun to make. Let's get the other one out here as well, and you can see them, both of them there. So, hope you enjoyed them. Thanks you for joining. Can't speak. Thank you for joining me today, and I will see you soon. Bye for now.